You know that feeling deep in the wilderness when the sun dips low and the quiet changes? Not peaceful quiet, but waiting quiet. Like the trees, the rocks, the water itself are holding their breath. Down near the border, along the remote stretches of the Devil's River in Texas, that feeling sinks into your bones. People there, descendants of those who know the old stories, Aztec whispers of betrayal, water, and endless sorrow, they understand. They might not say her name, La Llorona, but they know the river remembers, and sometimes it demands. Mark had been keeping busy this past year, consumed by a new promotion that demanded long hours and frequent travel. It was Sarah who insisted they disconnect, truly reconnect. The family needed it, she'd said. The kids missed him. The kayaking trip down the Devil's River felt like a necessary escape. Mark, Sarah, their 12-year-old son Justin, and bright-eyed 9-year-old Chloe were all packed and anticipating the adventure, the challenge of the wild canyon. When they picked up their permits, Mark noticed the quiet glances from the locals, the way their eyes flickered toward the kids, then toward the setting sun, a subtle tightening around their mouths. No direct warnings, just surprise. A shared look that said, "So late, with children?" Mark dismissed it as overcaution. This wasn't their first remote trip. They found a perfect gravel bar campsite, walled in by sheer limestone cliffs, utterly isolated. As twilight deepened, painting the canyon in shades of violet and gray, the air grew heavy, still. With the tent set up, kayaks unloaded, dinner done, and laughter being the only thing you could hear, the trip had a great start. But then the sound began. A thin, distant weeping carried on no discernible breeze. It wasn't animal. It wasn't echo. It was pure, undiluted grief, seeming to seep from the cooling stones themselves. Chloe leaned against Sarah, suddenly quiet. Justin, usually eager to explore, stood near the kayaks, listening intently, his head cocked. A clammy coldness permeated the air. Mist, thick and unnatural in the dry canyon, began to rise from the river's surface, swirling like pale tendrils. The weeping intensified, closer now, a tangible presence wrapping around their small camp. Mark felt a prickling sensation, the profound, unnerving certainty of being watched by something ancient, sorrowful, and aware. He scanned the mist-shrouded banks. Nothing. Only the deepening gloom and that heart-wrenching sound. It seemed to focus then, right near the water's edge where Justin stood, strangely still. The mist churned there, darkening, coalescing. Mark felt a cold paralysis grip him. Then the whisper, cutting through the weeping like ice, soft, almost sweet, right beside Justin's ear, carried on the damp, cold air.
The water holds peace. Come in.
Mark watched, helpless, as Justin turned. His face was serene, his eyes distant, reflecting the gray mist. He took a slow, deliberate step towards the river, then another. No fear, no hesitation. A calm, dreamlike walk into the swirling vapor that obscured the water's edge. There was a soft, almost gentle shh as the water took him, a sound swallowed instantly by the mist and the vast, waiting silence of the canyon. The whisper faded. The oppressive presence lingered, a weight on the air, before slowly receding. Far, far downstream, the desolate weeping began again, a fading lament carried away by the indifferent river. Justin was gone. The searchers found nothing. The official report cited the river's hidden dangers, the treacherous footing, the tragedy of the wild. Mark and Sarah's fractured attempts to describe the weeping, the mist, the voice, the horrifying calm on their son's face, were lost in the shuffle of paperwork and pitying glances. They returned to a house that felt hollowed out. Months passed in a haze of unspoken grief and suffocating tension. One evening, staring out at nothing, Sarah turned to Mark. Her face was pale, her eyes dark pools reflecting a depth that wasn't entirely hers. The air around her felt unnaturally cold, damp. Her voice, when she spoke, was terrifyingly calm, layered with a subtle, watery echo.
Do you know why she weeps, Mark?
Sarah asked, her gaze distant yet piercing.
Why she can never rest?
She didn't wait for an answer.
Her love, her husband, he presented a face to the world, kind, devoted.
A flicker of something ancient and knowing entered her eyes as they locked onto his.
But secretly, he sought comfort elsewhere. Betrayal, Mark, a hidden life. Does that sound familiar?
Mark stared, the blood draining from his face. This wasn't Sarah's accusation. This was something else, something cold and old and filled with the river's sorrow, speaking through her. The voice continued, soft, almost conversational, yet utterly chilling.
She lost her children to the water because of his lies.
The gaze drifted thoughtfully towards Chloe's closed bedroom door.
She understands sacrifice. She understands taking what is most precious.
The eyes returned to Mark, devoid of warmth, filled with a calm, horrifying certainty.
Chloe is next, and then you'll lose me too, Mark. Just away from you forever.
Sarah, or the thing wearing her face, simply stood there, bathed in the dim lamplight, her expression serene, her eyes holding the cold, patient depth of the river, waiting. And Mark knew, with sickening finality, that the weeping woman hadn't just taken his son, she had followed them home, and she wasn't finished. There are countless such whispers buried in time, ancient folklore that refuses to stay silent, proving that some legends are disturbingly alive, even today. To hear more tales of folklore that refuse to stay buried, subscribe to the Buried Whispers. Listen closely, stay safe.